It's your boy, I'm doing back another one. Yo, it turns out Joe Budden talked about Drake's album numbers. Ice was projecting 120. Mark Lamont Hill was projecting 100K or a little bit more, right? You guys gotta understand, those numbers are somewhat accurate, even though the projections dropped today that he's doing 250K. We know we have to chop a good amount of that off for some other units, and you know how the album sales always work. It's not really real album sales, the streaming units and all this stuff when you break down the actual details. We're going to play a Joe Budden clip, and then we're going to basically break it down. Well, I'm going to tell y'all why the 250 is horrifically horrible. It's the closest number to honestly Nevermind, and that's critically horrible. So let's get straight into it.
And what is it? Bots and suppressing and... Oh, he lowered the price of the album.
He better.
That's what did it.
Really?
Yes.
Well, streams are dropping every day.
The streams are dropping, and they dropped a hard code, Vern. The streams are dropping, and they lowered the price of the album to like $4.99 shit. I'm not putting that on Drake, even though it does look away for Drake to be attached to something where you lower the price on the album. But it is technically a party album.
Yeah, it's $7.99 on iTunes right now.
Yeah, but them numbers dropped every day. I heard y'all talking about how many numbers he was going to sell. Some people saying 150, 250, 350, 450. It's looking like if he hits 150, he'll be very lucky. I'm predicting. I was predicting like 110, and I'm not even sure he hits that now.
My number was 120, and now I'm just looking. We get 100 maybe.
Damn.
But my number's 120. I don't see it going nowhere higher than that. I'm doubling down with that one.
If you're Drake and you sell 100,000 records of this, how do you explain that? Do you just say this is a party album? This ain't my album?
1,000% you say this is a party album.
You don't explain shit. It's a party album.
There's nothing to explain.
It has nothing to do with me.
Wow. Right.
On purpose.
I want to play this clip of L.A. Reid talking about the mythical button that you hear talked about so much in the music industry.
The red button?
Yeah.
Well, that's some Drake shit.
No, I'm playing good.
But long before that,
I know,
there is the belief amongst industry people that there is a button that you press to get an artist popping, like to get an artist lit. So L.A. Reid was on, shout out to L.A. Reid, legend. He was on Tank's podcast, shout out to Tank as well, was on Tank's podcast and Jay Valentine, and this is what he had to say about that.
On the second day of Drake album dropping, it dropped 44%. His music has dropped 44% over time. It's been dropping. That's why he made it go from, I believe, $7.99 or something like that to $4.99. He put it on sale for 21 songs is $4.99. That's insanity, all right? So you guys gotta understand, Drake knows his numbers is dipping. Y'all might think that 250 is a win, but 250 is a win for the local artists. 250 is not a win for someone who does 400,000, 600,000 streams. This is his norm, right? His last album, I believe, did 400,000, right? And views did 600K. So why is this album doing so poor? It's because it's musically not good. Nobody wants to say that. They're trying to find 2 songs to like out of 21 songs. They want to stick onto a Nokia song that was most likely made by Dram or made by someone else, right? But you guys got to understand, everything Drake is doing literally is making his album sales go down. All the corny behaviors, the alleged minor situation that he has with some 16-year-old apparently that he brought out, and that she went to his concerts and were holding hands with him, and she was 16, most recently in 2023, right? These are the stuff that's just, come on. Right after that, and then you got a bar talking about high school in the actual album. Your mom kicked you out. What are you talking about? Drake is 40 years old with a bar like that. That's why people's not listening to the album. It's not grown. It's what Joe Budden said that started the beef, and with the views comment, bro, you make music for children. This is like music for little girls. This ain't even music for grown women, in my opinion. But that's besides the point. That's all my opinion. But factually, Drake, this album is your second worst album in terms of streaming numbers. Honestly, Nevermind did around 200,000, mind you. So you guys got to understand, if Party Next Door wasn't on that album, I got to take 36,000 away from that 250. You guys got to understand, Drake clearing 230 to 220 something is not a W, guys. It's not. No matter who tries to put it on you, they try to say that Kendrick Lamar album was a failure because it was projected at one point, it was projected around 220,000 or something like that. Then when the actual numbers came out, he did 319K with nobody telling that he was going to drop. Nobody knew when he was going to drop, how he was going to drop, what was it going to be. He literally surprise album dropped 319. Then on top of that, it grew by the second week. It was already past 500,000K. I told y'all in my most recent video, if Drake don't do 500,000K by the second week, it's a failure, because that's what Kendrick Lamar did. Kendrick Lamar now has set the standard. By Drake's standards, this is the worst album that he's dropped, next to Honestly Nevermind. So in 3 or 4 weeks from now, y'all won't even be hearing nobody talk about this album. This album is literally based off of the post-battle. We wanted to hear an album from Kendrick, and we wanted to hear an album from Drake. We got an album from Kendrick, we got an album from Drake. Kendrick album supersedes Drake's album by a mile. And then on top of that, they want to excuse it and say it's an R&B album. So the numbers, it don't matter because, he did great for an R&B album. That's the scapegoat. That's why he did an album with P&D. He wanted P&D to be the scapegoat. Meanwhile, there's more Drake songs and more Drake verses or more Drake tone than P&D. It's almost like P&D is non-existent. That's why I hate the album, because that's not a P&D vision. P4 was a classic in my eyes. I honestly loved it. I love Party Mobile. I love P3. I love P2, and I love P1, bro. Pause. You guys got to understand. This is Drake's biggest tactic, right? Is doing colonizer moves. He did the same thing. He did a somewhat of a colonizer tactic to Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden. And there's already a clip of them or her being agitated because Joe was like, "You gonna play the song to just sleep her," right? Immediately, Melyssa Ford is hot and bothered. And I've been trying to explain to people that Drake is dropping seeds into that lady's mind, gassing her up, doing what he knows that she probably likes. And it's somewhat working. Or if she's playing a role, I don't know. But she's definitely playing into it, and that's the worst part about it all for me personally. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about Drizzy Drake. All right. I also have an up-and-coming video coming up where I'm doing Joe Budden and Drake's Origins beef story. So keep an eye out for that. It should be out in 2 to 3 days. Let me know what y'all think about this video right here. You know what I'm saying? Drake, you failed as an artist this year. People are going to try to rub your back and make you feel good because that's what enablers do. But when in terms of keeping it real and keeping it authentic and not a yes man, bro, this is your second worst album of all time. And for me, Honestly Nevermind is way better sonically and musically than this album. I literally hate the singing. I hate the auto-tune. I hate the lyricism. There is absolutely no lyricism. I mean, it's elementary. When you say dictionary, fictionary, bictionary, litionary, motionary, missionary, papachary, movachary. When you's rapping like that, bro, you are a child and you need to grow up. All right, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Boom, me to back another banger, man. Peace.